Hello, this is Dave Hurwitz, Executive Editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a review not of a CD, but of a book. It's a book called On the Art of Opera, and it is one of the most striking aesthetic treatises I have ever had the fabulous opportunity to read, because the author of the book is none other than that incredible authority and tastemaker for an entire country. I'm referring to Jong Il, the former supreme leader of North Korea and father of the current supreme leader of North Korea. Believe it or not, he was an opera enthusiast, and he wrote a whole book on opera. It's amazing, isn't it? Of course, it's not quite the same opera that we think of as opera, but let's get a sense of what he thought about it, because this book gives you the most detailed, exquisitely thought out treatise on socialist realist opera that you've ever seen in your entire life. I couldn't wait to get my hands on this. You know, Amazon has it. It's actually quite easy to find. So let me explain to you what happened. It turns out that in 1971, under the supervision of Jong Il, North Korea managed to create its first and greatest completely successful National Socialist Realist opera. It was called The Sea of Blood, appropriately, given who we're dealing with, right? And The Sea of Blood gave birth to a whole new type of opera, which Jong Il quite perspicaciously called Sea of Blood style opera. So, what is it about Sea of Blood style opera? Well, let's just look at the contents here and sort of run down and see what he describes. And you'll get a sense, just from the headings of the chapters, where he's going. He says, first of all, the times and opera. The opera revolution is a requirement of the times. And this is in 1974 now, when he's writing this book, summarizing the achievements of the Sea of Blood. Principles must be observed in the opera revolution, and the Sea of Blood style opera is an opera of a new style. And what is that style? Well, first, the libretto. The libretto is the ideological and artistic basis of an opera. Lyrics must be poetic. They have to be poetic. And adaptation requires the proper establishment of a plot. That's a very serious point there. But what about the music? I mean, the libretto is, librettos are librettos. The music. The stanzaic song is the main means of operatic portrayal. You know what a stanzaic song is? That's a song in verses, all set to the same music. That's a stanzaic song. And he further goes on. Opera songs must be stanzaic. Melodies peculiar to a nation are the basis of opera music, and opera songs must be idiomatic. Next, he talks a little bit about some Korean traditional songs that should be included in these operas, but then he goes on to say, when the orchestral music is alive, the stage is alive. He says, orchestral music must be based on stanzaic songs. Orchestral music must be alive, as opposed to the dead kind, I guess. I don't know. National instruments must be combined with Western instruments. A very interesting concept, that. And musical arrangement is essential. And then he goes on to say that man and life must be depicted in song. There should be a theme song in an opera. You've got to have a theme song. This is not a leitmotif, mind you. This is a theme song. Then music and drama must be closely allied. Emotional delineation is the main aspect of the organization of musical drama. The musical line must be established, and the mood of the music must be coordinated. Then he talks about dance and staging and makeup, promoting characterization. and the principles of realism that must be observed on the stage, and then fabulously the role of the conductor. Now, the conductor is not the conductor that we think of in our kind of, dictatorial realm of the arts. No. This is the opera of the people. So it is the conductor's job, according to Jong Il, to conduct at the average standard tempo that everybody decides is the right one for the stanzaic song that's going to be performed, and at the same time he must not deviate from that tempo, because that will ruin the atmosphere and the dramatic pacing of the opera. So that's the conductor's job. But that still doesn't tell us what's going on in the Sea of Blood, does it? And so to give you an idea of that, he doesn't actually describe the opera all by itself. He talks about it as an exemplar in describing all of these other topics. But I think I can sort of tweak out some of the main scenes because they're identified by the stanzaic songs that they contain. For example, he says, an opera song is the song of a character who is in a dramatic relationship, so it must be dramatic. As an example of this, he talks about, from the Sea of Blood, I shall remain single-heartedly loyal. That's a typical stanzaic song, but the really rousing one, he said in particular, the song Avenge the Punitive Expedition. Ooh, yeah. The punitive expedition leads the people into the world of the drama with strong dramatism, because not only is the melody of the song good, but also its words are deep in meaning. So keep that in mind. Avenge the punitive expedition. That's a good one. I mean, that's a scene we're all going to want to see. And let me see what else we have here. Let's see. Here's a good one here, I think. Let me just take a look. Yeah. I've got it. Oh, yes. Here we are. The song, When the Women Are All United. Now that gets repeated. It's sung in the scene in which the mother goes to the town on the first mission given her by the revolutionary organization. And it's repeated in the scene of sending supplies in support of the guerrillas, and for a third time in the scene of the meeting of the members of the Women's Association at a mining village. Now, doesn't that sound like something we're not going to want to miss? And finally, we have here a couple of absolutely wonderful sounding songs from the Sea of Blood. Let's see here. Oh, yes. This is very, very exciting. This is, here he writes, the audience is moved to think a great deal by the song, You Have Brought Medicine for Your Mother. I mean, that's obviously a deeply moving moment, especially because Cap's son sings it while embracing Ul Nam, who has brought medicine for his mother by selling the fish he caught just before he's killed by the enemy. And speaking of being killed by the enemy, we've got the most rousing song of all that points the motto of the entire work, the Sea of Blood. The song is called, It is an Honor to be Alive or Dead on the Road of Revolution. So there you are. The Sea of Blood in a nutshell. It is an honor to be alive or dead on the road of revolution. I cannot recommend this book strongly enough to any authoritarian despots out there who are looking to try and take over the cultural life of their nation and create the ideal combination of completely rigid ideological purity and musical conformity that will appeal to the masses. They won't be able to stay away. I mean, you could even charge for tickets, but I know you can't. That's capitalistic. But what I'm saying is this stuff will obviously be so appealing to the masses that they will be flocking to the theaters to see it. And so if you're looking to create that kind of cultural revolution. Oh, cultural revolution. Where have we heard that before? Never mind. Here it is. Jong Il on the art of opera. Get your copy while they last. Thank you. And keep on listening.